Hey y'all, it's Tammy with Collard Valley Cooks. Today we're going to whip up my shepherd's pie. Now it's really a cottage pie, but when I wrote this cookbook, I sure didn't know the difference. But now I do. It's made with hamburger meat instead of lamb, so therefore it's a cottage pie, but it's in my first cookbook and it's called shepherd's pie. We will get started. All right, y'all. It's so good to be here with everybody today. I have some fresh vegetables, so we are peeling a few carrots. And these are nice, pretty long carrots. I've got some good old potatoes, and I actually have a shallot that I had left over from Thanksgiving. I don't always buy expensive things like shallot, so we're going to use it in this today too. And it's actually going to be really, really good because I typically use canned vegetables as a shortcut. All right, next you're going to wash and peel a few potatoes. And this wonderful little knife I'm using is a Rada knife, just like my mom and granny used. The only difference is the handle's a lot different. It's an Anthem handle. Now, I'm going to talk to y'all in a little bit about my products because it's something I don't do a whole lot, and there's something new on YouTube that I am using. And I want to make sure y'all like it and that it's not aggravating y'all. But now we'll talk about that in just a minute because I am going to get these peeled up and then we're going to start chopping them up. All right, the thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a shallot today. We're going to chop it up and we're going to put it in there and boil it with our vegetables in the stock. And typically we would just chop up an onion and brown it when you brown the ground beef and do it that way. But we're doing it a little different today. Okay, I'm going to cut these pretty thin because I don't want to wait forever on them to get fork tender. And we're going to cook them till they're fork tender. And right now I'm just I'm just cutting them in little round circles like Mama did. I guess if you wanted to cut it like a chef, you could turn the carrot a little bit and angle it. And you can do it however you want to do it, of course. But just get them chopped up good, and that way everything will be fresh and delicious. Now I'm making my pie a little bit bigger than normal because I had a good many potatoes left over and some beef, and I just wanted to use my ingredients. So I'm going to go ahead and chop up another carrot. 2 would probably be fine in a regular recipe. And remember that most of my recipes are for a family of 4. So if you have more people than that, you might want to make a little bit bigger of a recipe. Now I'm just going to chop these in half, and that way they won't all be big, and they'll all get done about the same time. Now when I cut up a potato, to me it's so much easier to pick it up like this with my little paring knife than it is to try to cut it on the cutting board, because potatoes are starchy, and when you put a large knife through a potato on a cutting board, it wants to stick to the potato because the starch clings onto the knife. And I just think it's harder. If you've never learned to cut up a potato like this, I encourage you to give it a try. And at first you might be a little slow with it, but after time, you're going to be able to do it just as fast as I do. And it sure does make it easier. I remember Mama always slicing her potatoes like this. And I can remember when she fried up potatoes, and she'd just slice them right into the skillet. Now, while we're on this peeling subject, let's get back to the paring knife. It is a Rada, just like Mom and Granny had when I was growing up. And I just want y'all to make sure that you leave me a comment and let me know how these ads are affecting your viewing time, and whether or not you like them or don't like them, because I can take them off. I can show one ad per video if y'all would like that better. It doesn't bother me a bit, but I do want y'all to have a way to find what's available out there that I sell, or that I recommend that you buy in your kitchen. but I don't have to show 3 in one video. I can show 1. Now, if you're watching on the TV, it's real simple. It don't crowd the screen like it does with a phone. So I would appreciate your feedback on that. So I hope to get a lot of comments on this video, and y'all let me know what you think. All right, we're going to get all these vegetables in my pot. This is part of my stainless steel that I always use. I like stainless steel to boil stuff in. And you'll notice that I never fry in stainless steel, but I do boil stuff in stainless steel. But we're going to be using some beef stock, and you're going to want to use beef stock and not broth just because it's richer in flavor. And if you don't have any handy, then use water and mix in some, at least a tablespoon of beef bouillon granules. And you're going to want to cover your vegetables. Now, this will be about 4 cups of stock, and it should cover these absolutely perfect, really. And so we're going to get this on the stove and get a lid on it, bring it to a boil, and we're going to cook these things until they're nice and fork tender. And you know what? I'll taste it to see if it needs any more salt. And I think it does need a little salt. So I'm going to reach back here and get my salt box. And we're going to put a little bit more salt in this and get it going on the stove. Are y'all ready to have a real video that's videoed right? We're about to. Sorry that I made this mistake today. I made a mistake on 2 of my videos. So you guys, it makes me appreciate Chris a lot more. Now, on to the show. I'm going to get this on the stove and get it started. And then the rest of the video will have the right kind of microphone. All right. After you brown your beef, you're going to put in a teaspoon of Weber Steak and Chop. And since I made this a little bit bigger batch, I'm going to add just a little extra. And you're going to put in a 1/2 cup of brown gravy mix, McCormick. This is going to flavor up this beef good. Now, if you're using the canned vegetables, you're going to put in juice, the juice from 1 can, and mix this up good. Since we didn't use mixed vegetables, we're going to reach in here and get the juice out of the vegetables that we cooked. And about a 1/2 cup should work. And then you're just going to mix this up good. It needs to be just moist enough that, you know, it'll be good. So I think I need a little bit more. And that's gravy mix, so it's going to get a little thick. I have more ground beef in mine as well. So it's going to take a little bit more for mine for it to get moist. Looks good. I think that's about right. We can put in just a tad more juice. You just want it good and gravy-like without being gravy. So that's a good texture right there. All right. Now, I know I tell y'all to bake this thing on 400 degrees until it's bubbly and a little bit browned. But if you put it in a glass dish, you need to make sure your dish is 400 degree temperature safe. If it's not do that. Put it in a metal or, you know, like an aluminum pan or something like that if you're going to cook it at 400 degrees. You can cook it at 350 degrees if you want to wait a lot longer for it to be bubbly. So that's up to you, all right? So if you want to use a pretty glass pan, go ahead and do it, but you're just going to have to bake it a little bit longer and turn that temperature down a little bit, okay? All right, I got my oven preheated behind me, 400 degrees. I've got my beef. I've got a pot that we're going to cook this in, my creamed potatoes, and they're actually leftover ones because I had a huge dinner with the kids and I had extras. And I made a lot of potatoes. And then I've got my vegetables that we cooked. And we're going to get this put together, and I know you're going to love it. We're going to get started putting it together. I'm going to bring y'all up close to me. First thing I'm going to do is grease this skillet real good. And because we're using creamed potatoes, I'm going to use butter. That'll just make it even better, won't it? Because there's a little bit of creamed potatoes that goes in the bottom. And this is a 3-inch tall skillet. It's a 10.5-inch standard skillet, but it's 3 inches tall. All right. So let me wash my hands. First thing you're going to do is put potatoes in the bottom. And you want enough for the top too. So put half your potatoes on the bottom, like that. Spread them around. Well, and then you're going to take your vegetables and you're going to put them around the sides. Now, you don't have to put it together just like I do. If you want to mix the vegetables, you can with the beef, but I like to put them around the edges, and then I put the beef in the middle. Well, it looks good. And we got lots of veggies. I'm going to go ahead and put some in the middle. It's going to be good. I think that's plenty. Yummy. Now, there's plenty of salt in this meat because it's got that half cup of gravy mix in it. So you don't have to worry about it not being salty enough. And of course, you season your potatoes and stuff like I tell you to in the recipe. Oops, it's a lot of meat. And now you're going to take the rest of your potatoes and put them around the edge. It takes a lot of potatoes, so make sure you make plenty. We got just right amount. I told Chris last night when I put up the leftovers, I said, I've got enough potatoes to make a shepherd's pie, and I'm going to. Me and Chris are going home to see the family for a couple of days, and the kids, well, Amy's going to come over here and stay with the dogs and the cats and some of her friends, and Chris is coming with her, and I thought, well, they can eat this while we're gone. I'm the best mama ever. And now I usually bake it like this, but this does turn dark when it gets in the oven, and it's not always the prettiest pie because of the way I do it that way. So I'm going to put a few of these on the top just to make it prettier. Y'all know it's full of beef. And if you want to salt and pepper, or at least pepper the top so that it's pretty, you can. We'll pepper it. I'm going to get it in the oven till it's nice and bubbly. Make sure you grease it good. Now that's a good looking pie, ain't it? We'll see y'all in a few minutes when it comes out of the oven. We'll dip us up some, and it's going to be delicious. I will say, if you're going to get you one of these deep skillets, it is nice when they have this on this side because they get so heavy when you fill them up like this. So it's nice to have that extra handle. Let's check it out, y'all. We got a lot of good stuff to eat with it. But since this is the star of the show, that's what I'm going to dip out for y'all. Yummy. Looks delish. Looks real good, y'all. Looks good, don't it? That broth is in here from those vegetables, and it looks really good and kind of juicy. Makes the cream potatoes delicious. Even if they're left over, they're going to be so good. And it's hot. Mmm, mmm, mmm. That's really good. Really, really good. You're going to love making your own vegetables like this. If you got time, you got the vegetables, try to boil some in some beef stock. And if you don't have any beef stock, then put you some bouillon in there and some water and boil them in that. Mmm. It's delicious. It is better, I have to say, than the canned vegetables. All right. Well, we absolutely cooked like Mama did tonight. I hope y'all have a wonderful day or evening whenever you're watching this. And we will see you next time on Collard Valley Cooks, where we cook like our mamas did. Bye, y'all. Love ya.